Let's bring in David Penberthy, News Corp and Newsport Corp columnist, and the Australian, of course, but also #1 breakfast show in Adelaide at Radio 5AA again, Pembo. Good to see you back on top.
Thank you, Chris. I'm still reeling from the news that you're 60, mate. You're hiding it well.
Yeah, I'm hiding it, as I said to someone yesterday, hiding it with a bald head and a grey beard, hidden in plain view. Talking about age, tell us about your assessment of Joe Biden. Right. This is so sad to see Joe Biden, isn't it? But it's a real worry.
I think it is an issue of genuine concern. And watching that video then, Chris, it reminds me of Reagan's second term when people had no compunction or no sense of squeamishness, talking about the extent to which Ronald Reagan, who compared to Biden now, Reagan was a master communicator even in his second term, even though he'd started to slow down a bit. But there was so much relentless media coverage and so many relentless attacks from the Democrats on Reagan in the late 80s when he started to look a little bit mentally sluggish. And it almost feels like there's a bit of an emperor's clothes scenario with Biden, where if anybody dare talk honestly and openly about the fact that the guy, you know, every time he opens his mouth pretty much you can hear the clutch slipping. I don't know why people are so partisan about these things. He's clearly got some sort of cognitive issue, and interestingly the other day when he was asked about whether he's going to run again, he started being a bit vague about that. I think they're going to need to come up with a plan B, and for their sake, hopefully it's in 2 years' time, not sooner, because that video is excruciating to watch.
Yeah, it is terrible. And I tell you, the reason they're so partisan about this, so many people don't want to admit it, is because most of them knew it during the campaign. They basically hid it. The campaign itself tried to hide the president, and the media really gave him a free pass. So now they're kind of stuck with it. It is very sad to see. Let's go to the other end of the age spectrum, though, and look at the climate change debate and some of the hypocrisy here. And of course, there are some young campaigners. We have school strikes for climate change. We have Greta Thunberg out there, of course. And I showed earlier this exchange with a New Zealand protester, Izzy Cook is her name. And she was saying that people should have to reconsider their need to travel in order to protect the planet. People shouldn't be automatically allowed to travel overseas, for instance. And she was challenged about this on radio. Have a listen.
Am I allowed to go to Fiji? Is that necessary?
In the current climate crisis, I don't think that that's necessary.
When was the last time you were on a plane?
I'm not sure. Maybe a few months ago, to be honest.
Where'd you go?
Fiji.
Izzy! Izzy! Don't you care about the climate, Izzy?
Of course I care about the climate.
Not enough. You went to... you went to Fiji. Izzy, come on, mate. Are you serious?
Mate, you're not allowed to go to Fiji, but I've just been. It's okay for me, Jack.
The part of that story that fascinates me the most, though, is that since that on-air exchange happened, and I actually thought that the interviewer was being quite sort of almost maternal, like she was trying to laugh about it without, you know, crucifying this poor kid who clearly is a massive hypocrite. But her mother has gone berserk, and she's now accused the radio station of cruelty and said, how dare my daughter be treated like that? Well, there's a bit of welcome to first grade with all this. Like if this kid is going to be some sort of child prodigy who thinks that they can tell the rest of us how we should live our lives, you do invite a degree of scrutiny. And, you know, the fact that her mother sort of belatedly turned into some kind of crazed helicopter parent saying, how dare anybody subject my poor little darling to hard questions about it. I mean, if you're telling people they're not allowed to go to Fiji to save the planet, it's a bit reminiscent of the Harry and Meghan tread lightly on Mother Earth stuff while they're jetting around the world in a Learjet and living in a $20 million house.
Yeah, it is completely hypocritical, and the best way to avoid this is keep the kids out of it. Keep the kids out of the big political issues and let them study other stuff at the moment. Thanks for joining us, Pembo. Appreciate it.